Chapter 29. The paper is titled, Introduction to Physics, Wave-Particle Duality. Due date... "That's tomorrow!" exclaims Margaret Browning Fitzner. August Fitzner looks up from his Wall Street Journal. "What's tomorrow?" "This homework. Roxy needs it if she's going to school straight from Brittany's tomorrow." She picks up the phone, checks a list, and speed dials. "Hello, Brittany. It's Mrs. Fitzner. Can I speak to Roxanne for a minute, please?" She isn't. But her husband is out of his chair and pacing. "She's not there?" "Sorry to bother you, Brittany. I must have the wrong friend." She hangs up and turns to her husband in alarm. "Don't worry," he says grimly. "I have a pretty good idea where she is." Deputy Chief Mike Delancey is still in the office. He normally works fairly late, but when the chief is out of town, he practically lives at One Police Plaza. He's finally heading for the door when the call comes through from August Fitzner. "Braxton," Delancey calls to the sergeant. "What did I do with the file on that Gecko kid, the one who's mixed up with Augie Fitzner's daughter?" A few minutes later, he's back at his desk, rifling through the folder. Graham Fossey, street name, Gecko. There's his mugshot. Delancey remembers their meeting in the school, scaring the kid off. Obviously not well enough. Reaching for yet another pear from the basket on the cabinet, he scans the description of the halfway house. The kid caught a real break to get picked for something like that. Stupid of him to risk it all for a girl, even a cute one like Roxy. Too bad. His eyes fall on the picture of Douglas Healy, who runs the home situation for social services. He frowns. Why does this guy look so familiar? Do I know him? He catches sight of the bulletin board just outside his office door. The John Doe Wall of Fame, they call it. At any given time, the city has between 50 and 100 people, living and dead, that it can't identify. He takes a bite of the pear and, painfully, the side of his mouth. He barely notices the taste of blood. For there, hidden in the middle of the John Doe Wall of Fame, is Douglas Healy. He rushes over to read the details. John Doe, number 1453Y, turned up at Yorkville Medical Center in a comatose state, acute retrograde amnesia, no measurable improvement, transferred 1023 to Bronx County Psychiatric Hospital. Delancey is thunderstruck. 3 days ago, he was instrumental in getting Roxanne Fitzner assigned there as a volunteer. Oh, Roxy, what have you gotten yourself into? He reaches for the phone. The cafeteria is open around the clock for 24-hour shift workers. Besides Healy and Roxanne, the only other customer is a tired-looking nurse having a late sandwich in the far corner. As 9:20 approaches, Roxanne's stomach churns like the rapids of the Colorado River. Even Healy notices. "Are you feeling okay?" "I'm fine," she says, faintly taking a sip of her very cold hot chocolate. Her system is so upset that it's all she can do to keep it down. "You push yourself too hard," Healy chides her. "Between that high-powered private school and so many hours volunteering, at Yorkville they used to joke about setting up a cot for you behind the nurses' station." She glances at her watch. Not quite yet. They can't be seen standing around the kitchen. The timing has to be perfect. "I mean, it's great that you care so much," Healy continues. "But if you let yourself get so run down..." Come on, she exhorts the second hand as it creeps lazily around the dial. "Then the next group of volunteers will have to visit you. Are you even listening to me?" She leaps to her feet so suddenly that her chair overturns with a clatter. "Let's go." "Go? Where?" She grabs his wrist and hauls him across the cafeteria to the kitchen. "What's going on?" he demands. She regards him helplessly. "You'll have to trust me." "Trust you for what?" She leads him into the kitchen, moving past dishwashers and cooks, who look up in surprise. The exit is dead ahead, at the end of a line of stainless steel refrigerators. Roxanne heads for it, dragging along a bewildered Healy. The second hand of her watch is coming around again. 9:20 on the nose. It's now obvious to Healy that she's taking him outside. "This is crazy." "Whatever happens," she quavers, "always remember that I'm your friend." She hip-checks the security bar, and the heavy door swings wide. RJ stands there, his hulking frame filling the opening. "How's it going, Mr. Healy?" With a gasp of shock, Healy pulls back, poised for flight. But RJ is ready. He reaches out and grabs the group leader's arm before he can escape. In an instant, Terrence is there, and Healy is immobilized. A loud buzzer sounds within the building. Roxanne and the boys are startled. The kitchen staff is staring at them. But how could they have sounded the alarm so soon? "Let's go," hisses RJ. They hustle Healy out into the lane and stuff him in the back of the truck. Roxanne jumps up after him, with RJ and Terrence bringing up the rear. Behind the wheel, Gecko looks over his shoulder. "Is that an alarm I hear?" Healy stares at him. "Gecko?" RJ slams the double doors shut. "Go! Go!" Gecko throws the truck into reverse and begins retreating up the alley. In the side mirror, he sees the night watchman hustle to the gate and begin fiddling with the padlock. Gecko leans on the horn and speeds up, but the watchman is determined to get the padlock back in place. Swallowing hard, Gecko presses down on the accelerator. "Come on, mister. Don't be a hero." Frantically, the man snaps the lock shut and dives clear. A split second later, the truck blasts backward out of the alley, tearing the gate clean off its moorings and tossing it in a shower of sparks into the middle of the street. Gecko throws the gear shift into drive and burns rubber. A new sound reaches their ears, mingling with the klaxon from Bronx County Psychiatric. Police sirens. 3 squad cars scream around the corner. The lead cruiser drives up onto the broken gate, razor wire slashing into the front tires. It spins out and stalls, front end deflated. The second swerves to avoid it and jumps the curb. The undercarriage comes down on a concrete flower box, and the vehicle is hung up there, front wheels spinning. The third car howls past, barreling after the linen truck. "Gecko, why aren't you stopping?" Roxanne shrills. "That's a policeman back there." "Hang on," Gecko orders grimly. He wrenches the wheel, and the truck jounces across the sidewalk, plows over the muddy leaves of a vacant lot, and shudders onto the pavement of the next street over. The cop hesitates, then goes the long way around, screeching through 2 right turns. For a moment, Gecko thinks he's in the clear. Then the cruiser reappears in the mirror, far back, but gaining. Gecko presses the pedal as far as it will go, coaxing a little more speed, but not much. A panel truck is not built for racing. The cruiser grows larger in the mirror. The wail of the siren swirls all around them, filling the van. "Lose him!" Terrence pleads. Gecko looks around wildly. He doesn't know the Bronx. How is he supposed to elude a cop on his home turf, driving a faster vehicle? The truck bounces over a rise, and he sees it. Just ahead, the road follows a small bridge over a shadowed gully. If he can get down into the hollow before his pursuer reaches the rise, he just might be able to disappear, tricking the cop into following him across the bridge. He steers for the span, but at the last second, he cuts the lights and threads the needle between the barrier at the side of the road and the bridge rail. In the back, RJ, Terrence, Roxanne, and Healy are tossed around like ping-pong balls as the truck lurches down the embankment. Wildly, Gecko pumps at the brake in an attempt to slow their descent. Nothing helps. He has made this move with no idea of where they're going or how they can ever get out. Desperately, he squints into the gloom, grappling for the tiniest bit of night sight. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a concentrated beam of light shines directly in front of him, illuminating the bottom of the gully, lined with a double row of shiny tracks. The realization almost knocks him off his seat. This isn't a ditch. It's a railway line, and that light is